Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story titled, You Cheat with the Guy I Hate the Most, I Can Play That Too. And guys, this is a story about a guy who got married way too young. I mean, way too young. 19 years old. And 10 years later, after having 3 kids with his wife, guess what? He discovers that something fishy was going on, and lo and behold, he catches his wife in the act, cheating. And you're going to see here, guys, and by the way, the whole how he catches her is funny in and itself, let alone what happens in the story. But lo and behold, one thing leads to another, and he's definitely in a good position to get what he wants out of the divorce. And then to add, let's just say the old saying about revenge is a dish best served cold, he ends up having relations with both her sister and her cousin as a little payback. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, that sounds like complete BS. That sounds like some daytime TV type of stuff that you see those shows. But you know what, guys? After doing this for over a year and all the stories I've done and plus all the crazy things I've observed in my life, anything is possible. Truth is truly stranger than fiction. So, that being said, I'm going to go over the story here. You're going to see what I'm talking about, and you guys can decide for yourself whether this story is actually true, complete BS, or he's exaggerating some of the things. But nevertheless, it's entertaining anyway, and there are lessons to be learned. So it starts off. So I went to use my wife's phone, and she had Facebook open, and she was speaking to this piece of crap that I used to be good friends with. Little background on the guy. He wasn't from the old neighborhood, so we became friends over basketball, and I would protect him from troubles. But as years go by, I notice that he's into younger girls than him, so I can't be associated or friends with someone like that. Well, I'd like him to elaborate on that. He can't be associated or friends with a guy who's interested in younger women or women that are too young. He doesn't exactly mention that. Nothing wrong with dating younger women, but just they gotta be legal. Anyhow, I was just curious about that. He says, we get into a fight and he had to get his jaw wired shut. No more about him. Okay, obviously didn't like the guy, and this guy obviously can punch pretty hard. So my ex-wife was talking to him, and she became somewhat naive, didn't know he was flirting with her. He said they should meet one day over coffee on Wednesday, and she agreed. At this time, she and I were going through a rough patch. We got married at a young 19 years old, but I thought she was the one for me, and we had 3 kids since then. Got married at 19. Dude, what the hell are you thinking? Again, as I've said in many other videos before, guys, one of the most common denominators in these stories is that the couple gets married way too young. 19? What the hell? You're barely out of high school and you're going to get married? Now, I don't know if he was in the military, one of those deals where a lot of guys, they get married before boot camp or something stupid like that, which, by the way, if any of you guys want to go in the military, do not get married before you go to boot camp or deployed, because believe me, I've done plenty of stories where that is a complete train wreck. Just wanted to add that there while I'm thinking about it. But 19 years old, you gotta be out of your damn mind. Especially in today's world, they're kids. And this whole thing about he thought she was the one, that is just a bunch of BS that they put in the movies. These are Hallmark Channel movie type of things, Disney movie type of things. There's 8 billion people on the planet, or almost. And guys, for those of you that do relationships, and I have plenty of guys that watch me do, understand this. There are plenty of people in this world that you can click with, have a great connection. This idea that out of 8 billion people in the world, there's only one person that you can click with. That's a bunch of nonsense. Jesus, I'm losing my voice here. It goes on. I call my boss and tell him I need Wednesday off because of a family issue, and he told me that's fine. I read her messages again, and they agreed to meet at Starbucks. So when it was time for them to meet, I pretend to go to work, but instead I wait outside a block away. I see he pick her up and go to Starbucks downtown. I follow him there and stay in the car. At this time, I'm texting all my friends saying the old me came back and what was going on with the two. 2 of my friends are lawyers, and thankfully they helped me write up a separation and start the divorce papers. Well, this guy doesn't waste any time. It's always good to know a lawyer, guys. It's always good to know a lawyer, a cop in your town, a local politician for little things that can go on in your town, and also a good doctor. And if you can pull it off, good dentist and good mechanic, by the way. Just a little tip there, guys. I follow the pieces of crap out of Starbucks and see they're going to his house. Now I just park and give it 2 minutes before I knock on the door. So when I knock on the door, I hid down so they couldn't see me through the peephole and where I could hear the door opening. When I hear the door opening, I barge in, and he looks at me like he saw a ghost. Well, I can imagine, but this guy's asking for trouble. If he's barging in this dude's place, that's going to be considered to be trespassing, and you're going to see it's going to come back and bite him in the butt a little bit. He says, I saw my ex-wife in her bra, and all I say is, so, this is what you do with your free time. I leave. She chases me outside crying, saying how she doesn't know what's going on with her. What do you mean she doesn't know what's going on with her? Was a spell cast on her? Did she go to Starbucks with a guy and a dark wizard showed up and zapped her with his magic wand and put a spell on her to control her to go there? I mean, I've heard tons of BS when it comes to these excuses. Was Voldemort at Starbucks and gave her the magic cup of coffee that made her completely submit to this guy? What a load of shit. He says, she was crying, blah, blah, blah. And she said how they didn't have sex, but I quickly told her to F off. Well, what do you think she was going to do? Were they doing a fashion show with her clothes, with her showing her bra? Come on here. Of course they were going to hook up. He just beat them to it. He says, but I quickly told her to F off. Don't come back to the house, and if I see you with him, ask him what will happen. And I like how the fact he said that she chased him outside running around in her bra. Can you imagine if you're the neighbors across the street mowing your yard or washing your car and you look over and you see this woman running out of the house all frantic just in her bra? You're like, what the hell is this? Or you're a bunch of neighborhood kids on your bikes and you saw some naked woman or half naked woman with her big tits bouncing around her bra out in some guy's yard. That'd be the highlight of my summer if I was a kid and observed that. As I'm leaving, he throws her out. And I see he's really scared. Which, to be fair, I've done bad in my past, yes, but he knows me, and he knows the shit I've done, and knows what I'm capable of doing. I go on her Facebook, and I read a message from him saying to stay the F away from me. She tries coming back to the house, and I tell her if she steps any more into the house, I will tell her whole family what she did. Ooh, this guy's playing hardball. You have to. She walks out crying and asks for her stuff, and I just threw it in the trash outside and told her to go F off. One of my friends came to my house, who happens to be a cop, and says the piece of crap, the guy, filed a restraining order on me and my wife, saying that we have to be 100 feet away from him. And you know how he got that? Because the guy obviously barged in his house, okay? That type of stuff can come back to haunt you guys. As much as, there'd be the party that would want to lunge in and do what you got to do to the guy, keep in mind the repercussions down the road, and that could have a serious problem. You just never know. But he was going on his emotions. He knew what was going on and told me how some word got to some people, how the piece of crap had a effed up fetish, and how he was avoiding some people, and he happened to be dropped off at the old neighborhood, and he had filed the restraining orders. I told him I want a restraining order on my wife until we get the divorce. Damn, this guy really is not, he's playing hardball. He's not messing around. And I'm willing to bet you this guy probably was a very good, loyal husband for 10 years, even though he was a kid when he married her, 19 years old. What the hell was he thinking? This guy obviously didn't have an older, wiser male member of his family probably to warn him, don't do it. So I tell the kids how we won't be seeing mom for a while, and I call her an app telling her how she can explain herself to the kids and she can have the kids on the weekend, but to stay away from me. I cut her off before she says the whole "I'm sorry, forgive me" BS. That's got to be tough with the kids. But at the end of the day, she's still their mom. So obviously, she has rights with regards to the kids, whether he likes it or not. So now the real revenge comes. As we're going through the divorce, we have to go through an online course for the kids, which was the most pointless $20 I ever spent. We have everything settled. Judge agreed that the prenup is valid, so the B doesn't get no alimony. We sell the house and split it 50-50. I use my half to get a nice loft and still have some money left over to get a new car. Well, that's good to hear his prenup work. I'm, to be honest here, extremely surprised that if this, again, is accurate, he got a prenup at 19 years old. He didn't have somebody to give him enough good advice to say, don't get married at 19. But I'm going to guess at 19 years old, he has somebody to give him advice to get a prenup. Go figure. But that's good to hear. We're in court now. and the judge tells us, do you guys really have everything settled? I'm happy. I'm saying yes, but she decides to burst out crying again, saying that she's not this and not that, and thanks to that, we had to go to child support where kids have to stay with her. They have to decide where they want to live. I thought about telling them how Mommy doesn't believe in Santa Claus, but I didn't. Don't ruin Christmas for your kids, dude. I know you're pissed at your wife. Don't ruin it for the kids. But notice the whole she breaks down crying and carrying on in court thing. How many of you guys have either heard about that or have observed that? And all of a sudden the judge goes soft on the whole waterworks. It's amazing to me how I've observed women where they can just, like that, the tears can come flowing, and just the impact it has. They learn young. I remember like 10 or 11 years ago, I was at a 4th of July party, my family, and my cousin, she had a daughter, I guess was about 8 or 9 years old. And I don't know what it was, but like she's a very smart girl for her age, very observant, knew what was going on, smart like her mother. And something happened and she fell down. I don't know what it was, treehouse or I don't know what. And she started holding herself and started crying and carrying on. And of course, the men that were near her, the cousins, the uncles were like, oh, are you okay? They're there because, that's what you would do with family. And she just got up, started giggling, and said, I'm fine, and walks away. It was a whole act. Even at 8 years old, they learned to do that, how to manipulate and force the waterworks and put on a show and see. No joke, guys. They learn young. I shook my head, and the other, I remember my cousin and a couple other guys were just in disbelief. Like, are you kidding me? And one of the guys tried to say to her, like, you don't do that. But she didn't care. Anyhow, going on, I accepted the weekends to have the kids because she didn't really work, and she went to move back with her parents, who have more than enough money to maintain all the kids. But because of my job, I can't pick up the 2 of them from school and keep a 2-year-old at my job, but I was happy. This guy does some run-on sentences here, guys, so bear with me here. Now this is where it gets interesting. He says, her little sister came over to drop off the kids and asked me how I was feeling. Quickly, I used it to my benefit and told her how I felt lonely and sad because I lost the one true love of my life. Her sister stayed over and made the kids and I dinner, and she stayed after to talk, and I told her how much I missed being with her sister, but what she did was unforgivable. And she was agreeing with me, and then we started kissing, and it led to you-know-what. Revenge is a dish best served cold, but it gets better. I started working out and got into better shape and maintained a bit of a relationship with her sister until I FaceTimed her one day and my ex-wife was around and she heard my voice. And all I heard was the 2 of them arguing how she betrayed her and how my ex apparently told her to see if there was any chance to get back together. Now, before some of you guys immediately start calling out BS, this couldn't possibly happen, again, understand this, guys. Truth is stranger than fiction. Believe me, I have seen and heard it all. And this type of stuff can happen. When I was in high school, I knew this girl was in my grade. She was this pretty Italian girl, comes from a wealthy family. She was a pretty girl. She had a younger sister, 2 years younger, who was in the same grade as my sister, who my sister was acquainted with. And the younger sister was way hotter than the older sister. The older sister was good looking. The younger sister was hot. I knew this guy, a friend of mine or acquaintance of mine, who got together and started dating the older sister purely to get close to the younger sister, ended up breaking up with the older sister and ended up hooking up with the younger sister. No joke. Okay? So this does happen. And no, in case you guys are wondering, that wasn't me. I wasn't that much of a scumbag just yet at that point in time. But so this type of stuff happens. Goes on. I forgave my ex-wife, to be honest, but I didn't want to talk to her or see her. Now her cousin took turns bringing over the kids, and then I did the sob story to one of her cousins, and one of them I started to be friends with benefits with. Sister, now cousin. Then my ex-wife came over once, but I told her to stay outside and she's not allowed inside. She tried saying how she's been to therapy and how she's a new person and just wanted a chance. I forgave her, but she started to make me mad because I was just done with her. I accidentally blurted out how I slept with her cousin, and she started to cry, and I left her outside to cry. This guy is ruthless. Now I've moved on. I'm friends with benefits with 2 girls who I date any one of them. I'm still young, only 29 years old. My ex-wife has gotten in bad shape while I'm going to the gym and working on myself constantly. I mean, I do miss a lot of things that she's done for me, but what she did was bad, and I'll never let it go. Well, you know what? As the saying goes, once a cheater, always a cheater, and he's never going to trust her. And let's just say, for argument's sake, that, you know, she really did everything she could to redeem herself and all that. No matter what, he's not going to see her the same. And to make it worse, she was fooling around with the guy who absolutely he could not stand. All right, an ex-friend and all that. And there's obviously a reason that dude was an ex-friend. So he's just not going to be able to get past that, and best to move on. But the lesson here of the story is, guys, don't get married at 19 years old. Don't get married at 21 years old. Wait, if you're going to do it, wait until your very late 20s. I'm talking like 29 years old, preferably 30. Get some life experience, learn about everything, save a lot of money, work on your purpose, get you in a good place where you want to be. Then if you must do it, you definitely do a serious screening process on that girl. And even then, I warn you all the time about what can happen in today's world, particularly here in the West. Just got to be careful. And as for her, hey, she had her shot. She's still young. She can get her shit together. And for him, again, he's 29 years old. He says he's going to the gym, getting in great shape. He's doing what I tell all you guys to do. Go. You don't have to become the next Arnold Schwarzenegger or next Mr. Olympia, but you can at the very least get your bodies in decent fit shape. That's not that hard. Just eating well and hitting the gym or doing some type of workout with weights or your own body weight at the very least 2 to 3 times a week, full body workouts. Believe me, 6 to 8 months, you're going to look a lot better and you'll feel better. And you may discover a new passion by working out. And of course, all the other things you can do to better your life. Okay. And hopefully that guy goes in that direction. But he definitely gets the revenge award for today for what he pulled there with his sister and cousin. Very interesting. Anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.